Good evening and a very warm welcome to Front Page. Tonight, borders get robots, India gets billions in AI bets, and the US launches an AI mission that looks like, well, a second Manhattan project. China's Humanoids, Amazon's India play, Karnataka's semiconductor push, and America's Genesis mission. These are definitely significant power shifts. And here are the headlines. An unverified 34-second video of a humanoid figure near the LAC has set Indian social media on fire. But the real story is Beijing's 264 million yuan, that is approximately $37 million, rollout of Walker S2 humanoid patrol robots on the China-Vietnam border, marking the start of AI-powered humanoid-heavy border infrastructure that could eventually reshape how China watches India's frontier. Amazon has unveiled a $12.7 billion India AI push that aims to equip 15 million small businesses with agentic AI tools, deliver AI literacy and career awareness to 4 million government school students by 2030, and deepen local cloud plus model infrastructure across Telangana and Maharashtra, in line with the India AI mission, positioning itself at the center of India's next decade of SMB productivity, digital inclusion, and homegrown AI innovation. Karnataka has signed a landmark MOU with Taiwan's Allegiance Group to build the India-Taiwan Industrial Technology Innovation Park, bringing 1,000 crore rupees of chip supply chain investment, advanced manufacturing, PCB and design units, and 800 high-skilled jobs, marking the state's most strategic semiconductor push yet, reinforced by a parallel 4,900 crore rupees surge in AI hardware and data center investments from BWI and NTT, firmly positioning Karnataka as India's emerging compute and semiconductor capital. And finally, the United States recently unveiled the Genesis mission, an unprecedented national AI program that unifies 17 national labs, big tech, nuclear research, semiconductor pipelines, and the world's largest scientific datasets into a single autonomous discovery platform, aimed at doubling America's scientific research and development productivity, reshaping energy, materials, national security, and positioning the United States for the next decade of AI accelerated geopolitical competition. And to decode why this matters, why almost no Indian media is talking about it, and what India must learn from the world's first AI Manhattan project, we have Ramesh Pudukode with us tonight on Front Page. Good evening. As mentioned earlier, we have Ramesh joining us, but before that he's here and to give us the context in terms of what will happen, here is a little bit of context for all of you watching. Last week, the United States announced something unprecedented, a full-blown AI Manhattan project called the Genesis Mission, a national effort that pulls together 17 national labs, big tech, academia, nuclear programs, fusion research, semiconductor pipelines, and the world's largest library of scientific data sets, all to build. And here it is, an integrated AI discovery platform that can double America's scientific research and development productivity in the next decade. Genesis is a restructuring of the entire US scientific machinery, from autonomous labs and fusion simulations to quantum materials, national security systems, and AI directed experimentation. And of course, as we had mentioned earlier, joining us today to break it all down is Ramesh Pudukode, a technologist with 37 years of global IT experience, a rare blend, mind you, of technical plus financial insight, and someone who has seen multiple industrial revolutions unfold from the inside. And of course, this conversation comes at a very important turning point, which is AI companies are burning billions. GPU demand is exploding. The US China tech rivalry is accelerating. And for the first time, the American government is stepping in with an AI program that looks as much like a scientific moonshot as it does as an industrial strategy. Ramesh, are you there? Welcome to Front Page.
Yes, Sudhit. Yes, I'm here. Thanks for inviting me.
So wonderful to have you with us as always, Ramesh. I'm sure Florida is treating you well, as I can see.
Yes,
Can you hear me? Oh, there you go.
sorry. Yeah, it's there's an echo over there.
Can you hear me now? Is this better, Ramesh, for you?
Yeah, yeah, it's better. It's better now. Sudhit, it's good.
Fabulous. So, of course, just wanted to welcome you again on Front Page. You're looking fabulous. I'm pretty sure Florida is doing you no harm, as I can see clearly.
Yeah, it's the warm weather state, relatively, you know.
Nice it is. Of course, talking about weather, Bangalore is not too bad, trust me. But of course, let's unpack and let's get right into it, Ramesh. The Genesis mission. So, what it means for AI, science, national security, and whether this is truly a breakthrough moment or the first sign of an AI bailout. I want to first ask you and give you a little bit of context as well. So, ever since the Second World War, the United States is centralizing compute, data sets, nuclear labs, robotic laboratories, and scientific workflows into one AI platform. So, in plain words, Ramesh, I would first like for you to tell us all what is Genesis and why is it being compared directly to the Manhattan Project?
Yes, Sudeep. The Genesis was announced sometime, I think, last week, where the federal government is bringing all, they are unifying all the data sets, as you mentioned, from across laboratories and the universities and all that stuff. For it is a
True.
massive project. It's basically unifying because right now data is in silos. That means the NOAA, National Oceanography, that department, probably that data is not, they don't talk to the energy department, to
Hmm. Hmm.
let's say to NIH and things like that. Therefore, they're trying to bring, that's what it is. They want to bring all the data sets together so that research can be done, and there will be faster innovation and improvement. I mean, it's a huge project. The reason they call it Manhattan Project, I know a lot of analysts have been talking about it. I don't think the government calls it as a Manhattan Project because of the
No,
scale and the
they
importance
obviously wanted to give
and
it a, yeah.
the urgency.
No, fair enough.
For That's what it
I
is. The
get what
ambition
you're
and
saying.
urgency.
Fair. So that means that they're ensuring that the gaps are finally reduced in terms of, like you just mentioned, one department is not talking to the other, but now they will be able to communicate clearly. Which brings me to this next point, which is, you yourself have seen decades of national tech programs, Ramesh. What tells you that Genesis is a genuine scientific inflection point, and as we all know it, not political branding?
Yeah, one of the things here very important is the geopolitics has played a big role here. As you mentioned in your
Mm.
introduction, the rivalry with China and to lead
Yep.
is what I think it transformed it. Now, this is more an infrastructure. It is not like a one single mission. Let's say, for example, like the Apollo mission for the landing of the moon
Mm.
was a one single thing, and then US didn't follow through after that. They just disbanded, or whatever you can call the
Mm.
Apollo after the Apollo
Mm.
mission. But here looks like sorry, they are trying to create the infrastructure and targeting to solve the hard problems, and also connecting the various labs across with the new assets
Mm.
and the
Mm.
public private partnership. For all this and then the accelerated discovery, the timeline is very fast. If you look at it, it's like 60 days energy. They have to report
Mm.
something to the president. 90 days they have to report to the president.
Mm.
240 days, 270 days, for very accelerated. Therefore, this seems to be one of those things which, after probably Manhattan Project, they have they are very serious about it, and that's probably driven by the China competition.
Fair enough. Which basically, at the end of the day, completely puts to sleep the thought that this is not political branding. This is actually very, very serious business. So, coming back to Genesis now, again, which is the Department of Energy. I want to talk about that with you, Ramesh. That is expected to unify supercomputers, secure cloud AI, scientific foundation models, and autonomous labs into a single American science and security platform. We've discussed this. We've arrived that the acceleration point is there. This is an inflection point. This is not political branding, which brings me to this question. At a very high level, what does this unified platform actually need to do? And where is the hardest challenge in making it work?
The good question. The idea is to unify all the resources,
Hmm.
as we said, like all the 17 labs and the universities and all that, and then they enable the research. They are giving to the scientists the one platform. Therefore, this is what they want to do, and then create agentic like solutions, so that it goes, looks at the data, creates the thing, tests and sends it to an automated lab. That's what the whole platform, that's what they want to plan, they are planning to do. Now the hardest challenge is obviously bringing all this complexity and of these labs and all, and bringing it into and coordinate. That's not an easy task. And
Hmm. Hmm.
also the data integrity, the security, how are you going to protect so that the data breach is not there. And also the institutional coordination, and people, hey, and as usual, humans will be having like my
Yeah.
territory, I don't want to share data,
Hmm.
those type of things might come. Therefore, for and then what exactly is the success behind all this? How do you define the success? For are we going
Hmm.
to define success by the number of patents and the number of new innovations that's coming, or how does it or the papers? For we have to see a lot. Therefore, those are the hardest challenges I feel. Like you mentioned, you asked for we have to see and how it goes over a period of time.
Fair enough. So I guess coordination, the seamlessness of it, and of course the sheer scale of it, and obviously what kind of results does it produce is what, in a way, you're saying are the bigger challenges, which actually brings me to this next thought, which is the three national priorities. So across energy, materials, and advanced science, Ramesh, where can AI realistically accelerate progress today?
I'm thinking as if you mentioned if you read about the gist of what they said, I think they want to get into like human like biology, read about
Hmm.
the human brain, um, studying. I help. They're thinking it will like to help diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's. They're assuming the data will help them to find a cure for those things, and
Hmm. Hmm.
and the energy renewables like solar and wind to make it more efficient, finding better materials. Then they I think they are expecting efficiency in grid management, energy transmission, material sciences. Like today for the space, a lot of the rockets and the fins, everything is now. They are going to with composite materials, therefore trying to
Hmm.
make it better, even for other like aerospace and things like that. And as we biotechnology, batteries, for they are assuming a wide spectrum where
Oh,
they
sure.
think this will benefit this congregation or whatever unification of all the data sets. That's what they are assuming. Yeah.
Okay. Now, of course, that logically brings me to this point, which is that is this a stealth AI bailout, Ramesh? So, some analysts say Genesis ensures long term demand for compute and GPUs. Is that actually a fair interpretation according to you in terms of what all you just listed? And what is it that what all do they want to achieve with this? Based on that, then the thought immediately goes there.
Yes, but I agree that it might give a boost to all these chip companies like Nvidia, AMD, and all that. Remember, a couple of months ago, they already started. AMD has set up massive supercomputers in various labs. That's a
Hmm.
separate project. They have the energy department for. Yeah, it will give them a boost, and because of the computational resources and all the
Hmm.
hyperscalers will also benefit. Amazon as is setting up a $50 billion center for the federal government. Therefore, we can see that there is a benefit out of it, but I don't know whether it's a long term thing, because ultimately the private is the biggest player in the whole American economy. Therefore, the the federal government spending is only that much.
Hmm.
It's not going to change tip the scales. It might help them but I don't think this is more of a giving support for the private industry. I think this is more a competition to excel and be the leader compared to China. I think that's what is driving this more than saying, hey, let's help out Nvidia or OpenAI or
Hmm.
Anthropic
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
Gemini. I think that's what it is, I feel. But there is a
Yeah,
benefit
so
for
the,
these private
hmm.
companies. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Which actually, essentially, what Ramesh I understand is the simple fact that there is a much larger game at play here. The fact that they are wanting to nullify maybe the competition aspect, as you rightly mentioned again and again, as far as China is concerned, but also it does make one wonder about the public private partnership aspect, which is that Genesis depends on deep coordination between the Department of Energy and big tech players like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and Nvidia. Of course, you've established that this is not an impetus per se only to the private players, but begs the question, what does this alignment mean for the United States scientific capability?
So the 70% approximately of the R&D spending is private in the US. About 20 to 25%,
Yep.
25%, let's say, is the federal spending. Therefore,
Hmm.
um, this will give a boost, I would say, for more private spending, and and creating more opportunities, R&D opportunities. Therefore, I would say, um, this public-private partnership is good, but it's more driven, as I said, this project I'm talking about specifically is more driven by the fear of China, okay, or
Okay.
the challenge of China. um,
Okay.
the it will help in the the projects, the whatever the discovery timeline that they have established, like the 240 days, this one 290 days, whatever 300 days, all that thing will will get a boost by the private involvement. Without private, the federal government obviously cannot, even if they have the data sets and the scientists, cannot achieve what they want. Therefore, this is a very important part, because the ultimately the technology is in the private hands. The Nvidias, the AMDs, the OpenAIs, and the Anthropics and the Googles. Therefore, I think it has it will help the timeline. It will integrate the national infrastructure, because
Hmm.
all these hyperscalers are providing the cloud infrastructure specifically for the federal government, and to advance to train the advanced modules. Uh, they will it will become foundation modules for later for some other uh, uh, project to use, and then it will also help in the frontier models as the new Gemini and Anthropic models come up. Therefore, um, for it will help it, and of course it's protected only to few. The government is giving access only to about to a restricted number of companies. It's not like thrown open to the entire, to all the thing,
Sure.
to these hyperscalers and top chip companies. I think they have access to. Uh, for automated research workflows, for it will help all those type of things. For the public private partnership is a boost, and I do not see it as helping out the private here. I think it's more like from a national importance, like like the Manhattan Project type of thing. That's what is driving this.
Okay, so basically, the way I understand that, Ramesh, is very
I
simple.
hope I
That an
answered your
external,
question on that.
yeah, you did for sure. I mean, the fact that an external challenge is ensuring that one, there is a boost to the scientific capability on the whole, point one. Two, there is a much better alignment moving forward because there is almost a national interest aspect at scale now, which both the public and the private understand. And the third being the fact that it is smoothing out probably the alliances via policy moving forward. And I guess, I mean, those are the things which we will, of course, end up seeing unfold, and how do they take place and come to fruition as the days go along. But I guess, yeah, we pretty much understood where you were going with this, which actually brings me to this. There is a risk, there is blind spots, and of course, the governance factor. So, what are the biggest risks, according to you, Ramesh, of centralizing America's scientific infrastructure behind one AI platform? And what guardrails must be non negotiable? Because here is one challenge, which is an external one, but also it could create internal extreme challenges.
Yes, that's a good point. We have to see how this goes, because one single point of failure, because see, they're trying to bring all these labs
Hmm,
and universities. For one single point of failure, for how does it affect? We have seen like CrowdStrike and all these companies. You remember
sure.
last year and this year, one failure and so many companies
Yeah,
got
yeah.
affected, from airline companies. For we have to see how for how they address the single point of failure, or someone breaching making
Hmm.
data
Yeah.
security, spies, or some other hacks, then or manipulation of output, like who knows what's the output, and how do we verify these outputs, because
True.
someone breached the data. Therefore, how is it? uh, for there has to be transparency and accountability. um, you know uh, and also the data bias, or those type of things have to be taken into account, because these things are the risks in this one,
Oh, big ones.
the therefore the data bias and all that, transparency and all that stuff. For the coming back, these are the risks, but I am sure that they will have some guardrails. I'm assuming, I'm sure they would have thought about it, like a robust like cyber security and data integrity,
Hmm.
um, and also involving human oversight. You can never take the human, or even though they are
True,
planning
true.
this automated, like agents, which goes and does the research and tests in the lab and comes out with there should be human involvement, so that the scientists are looking at it, human, looking at it and verifying that the data is, whatever the output is accurate and all that stuff. For transparency has to be involved, audits have to be conducted once in a while. Is there a data breach? What is happening? And
Hmm.
for who have access to the data, for those type of guardrails, they have to be. And also very important, as Musk says repeatedly, once in a while, there should be a way to shut down, like something happens, okay, there should be a shutdown feature,
Yep, yep,
you
yep.
know
Yeah.
in the AI system, because Anthropic had that, they tested, they revealed it, saying they had to shut it down, their models, because it was before it went rogue. I mean, even, I mean, therefore, for we those
Any
guardrails.
further damage could have happened. Yeah.
Yeah, it can. For see, remember, we are only looking at the 90% of the good stuff that the AI can do. What about the 10%? What if the before the system model goes rogue, someone has, there should be a kill
Hmm.
switch or something like that. For and remember, these data sets involves nuclear stuff and all that stuff
Oh,
and all
yes.
those high security thing.
Oh,
Therefore,
yes. Hmm.
therefore, all the more reason that there has to be guardrails. There is no doubt about it. Absolutely.
Fair enough. Understood. I mean, the stakes are, well, needless to say, I can't even put it in words, extremely high, which is the global
Absolutely.
game. Now, let's
Yeah,
come to that, Ramesh. Let's come to the global game. And more importantly, if I were to posit where India fits into this entire moment, I'd obviously want to understand that from you. So, with our AI talent, GCC ecosystem, and semiconductor push, what is your take? Where does India fit into this entire zone?
that's a good question about India. I think right now, I feel, the major players, as we know, is between the US and China. Now
Yeah, we've
India
established that.
has
That's
to start. We
understood.
have to
Yeah.
have some. Yeah, therefore we have to start and have some models, and if not the frontier models, at least some small scale models targeting our thing. And I think government has already started AI mission with IIT, which is going great. There is a Bharat Vigyan mission, I think, which is also going
Yes.
good. For we are there, I think India is there. But um, my personal view is, obviously, the project genesis is different for India, okay, because we have to, our priorities, Indian priorities are different. There is a large agricultural uh, base that needs to be, the AI mission of India should address it, like the genesis type of a thing. Probably get all the data, and using that Vigyan and Bharat AI mission AI, for we have to do all that stuff. For but there is a talent over there in India. I think
Hmm.
something like at least 20% of China has got like 50% of the AI researchers in the world. Maybe I'm assuming India may be having about 10 to 15% or something of the world. Therefore, there is a big
Yeah.
AI talent in India. Therefore, we have to see how it'll benefit. Um, Therefore, I think we are on the right path. Maybe the only thing is that we don't have the compute capability like the one that the US has got. Therefore, we have to see
But we are
how we can.
investing big time now. We are
We
investing
are
big time,
investing.
Ramesh, in
Yes,
terms
exactly.
The
Yeah,
compute
yeah,
capability. I mean, there have been loads and loads of new data centers which have been announced, very heartening. They're shot in the arm as far as we are concerned. So we are very aggressively building that compute capability.
absolute. And you mentioned today that Amazon is investing now 15 billion in AI data
Yes.
center, and but only the only caveat here is, remember one thing, Sudhi, is when Amazon or Oracle or Google in Visakhapatnam, they are putting all these things. It is they are providing all these for our the hyperscalers. Okay, uh,
Hmm.
and in my opinion, the Indian government, of course, should have its own data centers, because which is not which is completely only for the uh, Indian scientists, just like the what the
Yep.
federal government is doing. That's what I feel we should have, because these are ultimately American multinationals, and they're they're providing these data centers. They're creating all these things to help out their private clients, like for example Reliance or Airtel, or or
Sure.
someone else, but Zomato, for example, or Swiggy or something like that. But I'm talking about we need to have AI data centers specifically, the like for Indian government
For the
control
sovereign data, as
sovereign.
far as
That's the
our
right word.
sovereign data, yeah.
Yeah, that's the right word. Sovereign data centers, accessible to Indian IIT and all other institution scientists. For we have to do that, and we have about 37,000 GPUs right now. Maybe
Yep.
it should up to about maybe half a million over a period of time, because if we have to create all these models and things like that. But yeah, that's what I feel. India is there, but the goals have to be different than what the US and China is following, because the problems are different to solve in India.
As always, Ramesh, you've put it wonderfully well in a balanced manner. You have asked a very, very poignant question. You've left it on a cliffhanger. But of course, we always thoroughly enjoy, keep to come back to you, have these conversations because of those reasons, because of your insights, because of all of the times that you shed light and also leave us thinking by the end of your interaction. Of course, thank you as always for joining us on Front Page, Ramesh. It's been, as always, a true pleasure. We will be coming back to you very soon again with a lot of the developments. And of course, the fact that you can always bring such a wonderful dialogue to the ongoing conversation. Thank you so much, Ramesh.
Thank you, Sudeep, for the opportunity. And yeah, okay, it was a nice conversation.
Kind of you. All right. Well, that was Ramesh, ladies and gentlemen, with a fabulous, rich experience of 37 years. And yes, some very important questions which were asked by Ramesh right at the end in terms of just bringing the entire discussion full circle. And I hope the front page take helps in completing that circle, which is tonight, Genesis made one thing very, very clear. The United States has basically turned science itself into a national AI workload with fixed timelines, shared compute, and one discovery operating system for the entire country. And while we in India are still debating why it is a stupid idea to do an MBA or go abroad for higher studies and waste money, America just said, let's double scientific productivity in just 10 years using AI across energy, fusion, semiconductors, defense, and biotech. So here's that very uncomfortable question. If the United States now has a Genesis mission, where is India's? We have an India AI mission, well, sort of, ONDC, which is commerce, UPI, which is finance, NDHM, which, well, pretty much covers healthcare, NISAR, space, and, well, some of the best AI plus scientific talent in the world sitting inside GCCs, IISC, IITs, ISRO, DRDO, and of course, our very private labs. But you know what? We still don't have a single integrated AI backbone for Indian science. Our very own platforms that unifies ISRO data, CSIR labs, space, climate, agriculture, health, and energy into one national discovery engine. That's exactly what Ramesh was talking about. And I agree with him. So we'll leave you with a very few questions that we would definitely like for you to tell us about in the comments below. Here is the first one. If India had to pick one Genesis style grand challenge, what should it be? Energy, water, climate, defense, rural health. Here's number two. Should India pool all of its government scientific data, which is ISRO, CSIR, agriculture, my apologies, agriculture, climate, clearly it's affecting me, health, I'm good, into an open yet secure AI training layer? And here is the final third question. Are we okay if India's future scientific operating system is very quietly run on foreign clouds and foreign models? Or do we need a sovereign genesis for Bharat? A moment of our very own. Good evening. Tonight, a viral 34-second video is blowing up the Indian internet, claiming that Indian troops spotted a Chinese humanoid robot standing guard along the LAC, a white human-shaped figure, stationary, alone, in the middle of the frozen high-altitude frontier. Is China really deploying AI-powered border robots against India, or is this just another case of internet imagination running wild? Tonight, on Front Page, we cut through the hype, the fear, the sci-fi fantasies, and bring you the real story behind that viral clip. So before that, you know what to do. Please make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. The footage, a shot in a rugged mountain valley, zooms in on what looks like a humanoid silhouette on the Chinese side of the LAC. Voices in Hindi say what everyone online is definitely thinking. ये robot लग रहा है. Some posts claim it's a Chinese spy robot deployed to track Indian patrols. Others believe it's AI generated. A few analysts say it's simply a fixed surveillance pole distorted by distance and snow glare. The hard fact? Neither India nor China has confirmed anything. And here's where the story gets very intriguing. Even if this viral clip is fake or misinterpreted, the idea of humanoid robots at China's border isn't fiction anymore. Just last week, China's UB Tech Robotics signed a 264 million yuan, which is $37 million worth, of a deal to deploy Walker S2 humanoid robots at border crossings in Guangxi near the Vietnam border. These are industrial grade humanoids that can swap their own batteries, which is world's first self-battery replacement bot, guide travelers, manage crowds, patrol checkpoints, handle logistics, do pretty much inspections across steel, copper, and aluminum plants. UB Tech already has a $1.1 billion yuan in cumulative orders for the Walker series and plans to scale to 10,000 humanoids by 2027. So for China, humanoid robots are no longer toys. They're becoming real-world infrastructure at airports, customs checkpoints, manufacturing plants. So the big question is not, is that exact clip real? The real question is, how long before China deploys these humanoids along all strategic borders, including the one with India? This video lands at a very sensitive moment. India and China recently restarted direct flights after years of tension. The 2020 Galwan clash still shadows the relationship. There's a very fragile thaw underway, but mistrust remains high. Meanwhile, China showcased a humanoid that completed a 106-kilometer autonomous trek just last week. UB Tech robots are being piloted for patrol duties. Shenzhen Customs has deployed robots powered by DeepSeek LLMs. China formed a National Humanoid Robot Committee to accelerate deployment. So, when a clip like this goes viral, Indians react very strongly because it sits inside a way larger, very real trend, which is China is aggressively militarizing and automating its borders with AI. Whether this exact footage is genuine or doesn't actually change that particular trajectory. A few experts posted comparison shots suggesting the figure could be a fixed optical tower commonly used by PLA. Even Grok was asked to authenticate the clip. Its verdict? No verified reports, but China is deploying humanoids elsewhere. And here's what we know for sure. China is officially deploying humanoid robots at borders, just not India's as yet. The viral clip is unverified and likely misinterpreted. The timing overlaps with UBTech's new patrol robots. China wants humanoids as part of its new productive forces strategy. These deployments are part of a border AI militarization arc. And here is what we don't know. Was this shot near the LAC? Is it a robot, a pole, a decoy, or AI generated? Are humanoids coming to the India border next? So maybe this will help because it's time for the front page take. Don't get distracted by the silhouette in a shaky video. The real story is this. China is building the world's first humanoid intensive border infrastructure at scale, mind you, with state backing, with billions in orders. Today, it's Guangxi. Tomorrow, it could be Tibet. And eventually, the LAC. Robots that don't tire, don't freeze, don't need oxygen, and can pretty much operate 24/7 at altitude. India doesn't need to panic, but it does need to pay attention for sure because the battle for the future border will be fought with sensors, autonomy, humanoids, and AI ecosystems behind them. And this viral clip, real or not, is a preview of a future arriving faster than anyone expected. This is Front Page by AIM Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, think AI, think robotics, think AIM. Tonight on Front Page, we are breaking down Amazon's new bet. Empower 15 million small businesses and bring AI literacy to 4 million government school students by 2030. Is this real inclusion or just another big tech slogan? So if you're ready, let's find out. On December 4th, 2025, Amazon quietly dropped a massive India announcement. $12.7 billion going into local cloud plus AI infrastructure by 2030. 15 million small businesses to get AI tools and automation. 4 million government school students to get AI literacy and career awareness. All aligned with the government of India's India AI mission and NEP 2020. On paper, it sounds simple. AI for every dukan, AI for every classroom, AI for every Indian shopper. But if you actually read between the lines, this is actually three different stories. Here they are. AI agents for sellers, AI literacy for students, AI infrastructure plus marketplaces for India's AI builders. And that's exactly where it gets interesting. Amazon's AI vision for sellers is quite blunt. Every entrepreneur should operate with enterprise-grade intelligence, even if they're a one-person shop, end quote. Here's how they want to get there. Seller assistant, from FAQ bot to 24 by 7 AI partner. Last year, Amazon launched Seller Assistant, a Gen AI powered expert that answers seller queries. Now, it's evolving into an agentic AI worker, understands your business context and goals, analyzes your catalog, pricing, inventory, performance, doesn't just answer questions, it works alongside you, runs in the background, flags issues, surfaces opportunities, operates 24 by 7 while keeping the seller in control. So think of it as a small seller in Hubli or who says, help me increase sales for my top 20 SKUs before Diwali, end quote. Instead of just giving tips, the assistant can analyze demand trends, recommend discounts, ads, and listing improvements, draft campaign creatives, push tasks into an action center for one-click execution, introduces next generation seller central, which is command center. Amazon calls it an intelligent command center. GenAI anticipates what the seller needs to do next. It actually surfaces hidden opportunities, which is pricing gaps, inventory risks, ad ideas. Action Center for instant approvals. Custom dashboards for data backed decisions for Indian SMBs who never had a BI team. Well, this is basically analytics plus operations plus advisor in one screen. AI listings, creative studio, and video generator. This is where AI hits the front end. Gen AI for listings. Type a very short description, upload a photo, or paste your website URL. Then what it does is it gives you the full product titles, bullet points, and descriptions in minutes. So globally, sellers accept about 90% of AI generated listing content with minimal edits. The Creative Studio, well, turns boring product shots into ads, banners, videos, repurposes a TV ad into a sponsored ad format. Video generator, creative, high quality video ads in minutes. No agencies, no shoot day, no editing studio. So, for a small textile exporter in Surat or a spices brand in Dharwad, this is genuinely huge because they skip 3 agencies and still look like a national brand online. The bottom line, if Amazon executes this well, India's long tail of SMBs doesn't just come online, they come online with Fortune 500 grade marketing and analytics. Amit Agarwal, the SVP emerging markets at Amazon, summed up the company's intent. This is what he said. AI has the potential to be transformative for India, not just as technology, but as an equalizer that breaks down barriers of language, literacy, and access. So, this is basically Amazon trying to position itself as a national scale AI partner for sellers, for students, and for India's digital economy. The second piece of this announcement is actually even more important because AI literacy and career awareness for 4 million government school students by 2030, and not just CBSE toppers in metros, government schools, undeserved regions. Amazon is promising this AI curriculum tuned to NEP 2020, hands-on experiments and projects, career tours to expose kids to AI jobs, teacher training, so the system doesn't collapse. When one CSR pilot ends, Abhishek Singh, Additional Secretary at MeitY and CEO, India AI Mission, nails the bigger picture. This is what he says. Education in the age of AI is not merely about understanding new technologies. It is about empowering every learner to use these technologies to solve India's unique challenges. Integrating AI into our classrooms is more than a skills initiative. It is a nation building effort. Well said, sir. End quote. If a child in Koppal can access the same AI tools as a child in Kormangla, you're not just teaching coding, you're rewriting who gets to build India's AI products and whose problems those products are designed to solve. This announcement sits on top of three big AWS moves in India. $12.7 billion in cloud plus AI infrastructure by 2030. Amazon plans to invest $12.7 billion into local cloud and AI infrastructures across Telangana and Maharashtra. That means more data centers closer to Indian users, lower latency for AI workloads, easier compliance for regulated sectors. So, this infrastructure is what will quietly power this. AI tools for sellers, AI literacy platforms for schools, Indian startups training models on AWS, India's first financial SLM. And here it is, Artham. At AWS reInvent 2025 in Las Vegas, Amazon showcased Artham, a 7B parameter small language model trained only on Indian financial and capital markets data, built by Raise Financial, Dhan, which is Artham. And this is what it delivers. It's actually built and hosted entirely in India, understands Indian regulations, filings, disclosures, powers tools like Fuzz and ScanX with source-backed insights. IT is designed to inform, not advise, with very clear guardrails. And this is exactly the kind of India First AI layer that Amazon's infrastructure and marketplace can enable. Today, it's capital markets. Tomorrow, it could be agriculture, healthcare, logistics, regional languages, media, all built on India-trained models running on India-based infrastructure. AWS Marketplace arrives in India. AWS has also expanded AWS Marketplace to India, which is 30,000 plus listings across 70 plus software categories, security, agentic AI, data and analytics, and of course a lot more. Indian customers can now buy in Indian rupees. Indian ISVs can list and sell in Indian rupees with simplified tax and compliance partners already on board, which include global names like Cisco, CrowdStrike, Salesforce, IBM, Palo Alto. India first AI players like Sarvam, Gupshup, and more for Indian AI startups. And this one is very crucial. You don't just build for India, you get a distribution channel to every AWS customer in the country. Yeah, you heard that right. So, on the sidelines of AWS reInvent, AIM Network spoke to Kiran Jagannath, the director, Financial Services and Conglomerates, AWS, India and South Asia. For India specifically, he pointed out regulated sectors like banks and insurers want AI but won't move PII to public cloud easily. AI factories give them a bridge, cloud innovation plus on-prem controls. And yes, he called out how Dhan and Artham being featured in Swami Sivasubramaniam's keynote is a big signal. Indian customers are not just consuming AI, they're building globally relevant AI products on AWS. So let's step back and kind of absorb the macro view, because here it is. If Amazon delivers on what it's promising today, three big shifts could happen in India. SMBs get an AI staff. A seller in Mysuru or Guwahati doesn't need a marketing team, ops team, and analyst. All they need is a phone and Amazon's AI stack. So AI literacy becomes a government school reality, not just an IIT campus perk. 4 million students learning AI basics early means a completely different talent pipeline by 2035. India's AI stack gets deeper, not just wider. Infrastructure in Telangana and Maharashtra, India first models like Artham, distribution via AWS Marketplace, agentic AI tools tailored for India enterprises. So, while everyone talks about AI for all, the real race is actually this: who will actually teach AI to India's next 100 million workers and students? Who will actually run the AI that powers India's next 10 million businesses? Today, Amazon has put a big number on the table: 15 million businesses, 4 million students, $12.7 billion in infrastructure. And as always, we'll track how much of that becomes reality in Kirana stores, in classrooms, and in India's AI factories. As you know, that's what we love doing on Front Page by AIMTV. Needless to say, like, share, subscribe, and always remember, yes, you guessed it, think AI, think AIM. You are hearing this first right here on Front Page. And here it is. Karnataka just pulled off a strategic win in the global semiconductor race. I'm pretty sure Andhra Pradesh's Nara Lokesh is smiling because, well, when states compete for investments, India wins. While the world watches Taiwan's chip giants and India's chip ambitions, something big just happened in Bengaluru. A Taiwan-based conglomerate is putting in 1,000 crore rupees into Karnataka to build an India-Taiwan Industrial Technology Innovation Park. This is a chip supply chain beachhead inside India, in Karnataka, backed by Taiwanese manufacturing expertise. So if you're ready, let's break it down. But before that, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And here is that promised breakdown. Karnataka has signed an MOU with Allegiance International, a Taiwan-based electronics and semiconductor group. Over the next 5 years, Allegiance will invest 1,000 crore rupees in advanced manufacturing, setup of chip design, research and development, and PCB units, creation of 800 high-skilled direct jobs, and a dedicated hub for Taiwan's electronics supply chain firms. This new zone has a name. It is called India-Taiwan Industrial Technology Innovation Park, ITIP. Think of it as a semiconductor ecosystem in a box, built in Karnataka, powered by Taiwan. So officials say the park will enable tech transfer, component manufacturing, PCB production, design innovation, high-value semiconductor talent creation, all sitting inside Karnataka's ESDM corridor. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah didn't mince his words. This marks a significant step towards making Karnataka a global hub for semiconductor innovation. IT and BT Minister Priyank Kharge added, Karnataka will continue to dominate deep tech and semiconductor design. We are building a level playing field for global investors in advanced tech. End quote. Lawrence Chen, VP of Allegiance Group, closed it out by saying this: ITIP will be the catalyst for Taiwanese companies looking to scale in India. What that actually all means? Here is the translation. This is just the beginning. More Taiwanese companies are now expected to set up fabs, OSAT units, and advanced packaging clusters. Karnataka is building the full compute to chip to data center value chain. And just look at what's happened just this week alone. NTT's 2,400 crore rupees data center near Bengaluru Airport. Japanese giant NTT announced a new 60 plus megawatt AI ready data center in Devanahalli. A total of 4,100 crore invested in Karnataka. 22 live data centers in India, 150 megawatt of global AI-ready capacity. Priyank Kharge's message at the launch was pretty clear, and why should it not be? Karnataka will be India's go-to destination for next-generation data infrastructure. End quote. He actually emphasized renewable powered DCs, liquid cooling, water secure infrastructure, advanced thermal management, a skilled workforce roadmap just days ago. 1500 crore rupees GPU plus AI server manufacturing plant. Burkham World Investment BWI announced a 1500 crore rupees GPU and AI server manufacturing facility near Devanahalli. Partners include Gigabyte, Sera Network, Resolute Group, QuadGen. So basically, end-to-end AI hardware manufacturing, export-ready assembly lines, meaning Karnataka is manufacturing the hardware that powers all of them. So let's put it all together. Karnataka's new power triangle. This is what it is. Semiconductors to AI hardware to AI data centers. So in the last 72 hours, if you like the breakdown, here it is. Taiwan invests 1,000 crore rupees in semiconductor innovation. BWI invests 1,500 crore rupees in GPU plus AI server manufacturing. NTT commits 2,400 crore rupees to next-gen AI-ready DCs. The total, 4,900 crore rupees funneled into Karnataka's compute plus semiconductor stack in just 1 week. Wow, that is applause-worthy. This is the new Silicon to Silicon Valley pipeline. Chips designed and built in Karnataka. AI servers manufactured in Karnataka. Compute housed in Karnataka. AI workloads run from, yes, Karnataka. And industry leaders like NTT and Yotta say it openly. Karnataka is evolving from India's IT capital into India's compute capital, end quote. And at the same ASSOCHAM Smart Data Centers conclave, while Minister Priyank Kharge doubled down on Karnataka's push for renewable powered, water secure, AI ready infrastructure, it was Yotta's Sunil Gupta who set the industry's direction, reminding everyone that building capacity is very easy, but defining the future of sustainable hyperscale compute is what true leaders do. So for the first time, we at Front Page feel like saying this out aloud, and you are please most welcome to join us in doing so. So if you're ready, Bengaluru shall no longer be called the Silicon Valley of India. Wait for it. We can now proudly say the Bengaluru of India. This is good news. No, this is brilliant news for Karnataka. This MOU with Taiwan comes at a very crucial moment. Global supply chains are shifting. India wants trusted semiconductor partners. Taiwan wants strategic diversification. Karnataka wants to own the high-value manufacturing corridor. ITIP sits right at this intersection. Geopolitics plus talent density plus infrastructure plus policy plus trusted partnership. And it all aligns perfectly with Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, India Semiconductor Mission, and tonight's takeaway, which by the way is very simple. Karnataka is not waiting for a TSMC megafab. It's actually building the ecosystem first. Taiwanese design houses, manufacturing clusters, AI hardware factories, hyperscale data centers, renewable powered compute, talent pipelines, and that's how semiconductor economies are actually built. So I am pretty sure that I don't need to say it, but I'll still do. Stay tuned for next week as we will be at the Supercomputing India 2025, which is happening in Bengaluru, and it is happening next week. This news is just the beginning as we bring to you some exclusive conversations from the ground up, live from the event. This is Front Page by AIM Network. Like, share, and subscribe. And oh, before I say what is so important to say, I have to say, Goa was fabulous. MachineCon 2025 was a huge, roaring success. And please look out for that content which is going to be coming your way. The boss? Yeah, well, he was in town. So was a lot of shots played on the front foot. And I believe there were some deliveries which came in at 150 kilometers per hour by some GCC leaders, but they were negotiated brilliantly well. That and a lot more. And of course, yes, there are a few songs as well, which you guys will be hearing. So, well, till then, think AI, AIM.